It feels like the UK hasn't had a proper music scene in a while. And I'm not talking about us not having good music or talented artists, because they're definitely out there. You had the likes of YT, Len, Fimi Guerrero, all stepping into the game at the same time. And there was an overlap of fan bases. There was a shared fashion. The music was similar. They were collaborating. And in terms of what they created and what they still create now, something special certainly did happen. But I was thinking that people would follow suit and it would become a scene in itself. I was excited by it. I was excited by what was happening, and I thought that was just going to be a conveyor belt for a whole sound that we got going on in the UK. But excitement is not what makes a scene. I'm Ferenc Phoenix. I am a DJ, I'm a radio host, and I'm just a general music lover. And I'm here to talk about scenes, because the UK really thrives when there are popping music scenes. That's something that we have done well. That's something that we understand. Most of our most important artists here in the UK didn't just come out of isolation. They didn't just appear. They didn't just spawn on their own. They came out of ecosystems, crews, cliques, club nights, events. That's kind of missing right now. Scenes create context. They help build momentum. They help build stakes. They help build an identity. They make it feel like you're participating in something with people, and you're not just listening. You're actually a part of what is going on as a consumer. When scenes exist, artists rise together, and when they don't, it feels very fragmented. Artists rise alone. We know what a scene looks like here in the UK because we've lived through them. What I want to do today is I want to look at grime, I want to look at UK funky, I want to look at Afroswing, and I want to look at UK drill. 4 completely different scenes, but they had one thing in common. They all have successfully created that feeling of a shared movement. So when I think about grime, that's probably one of the strongest UK scenes that there's ever been. It wasn't just a sound, it was a system. Pirate radio gave it a backbone. Raves, youth clubs gave it energy. Sets mattered more than singles. Reloads, clashes, slang, fashion, all of it reinforced the same thing. You could hear grime forming in real time. Progress was public, and because everyone was tuning into the same places, the scene moved together. For me, UK funky came out of that same ecosystem, but it completely flipped the energy. A lot of the producers, a lot of the UK funky producers used to dabble in grime, used to take grime seriously. A lot of the MCs used to dabble in grime or take it seriously, and a lot of those musicians and artists ended up coming straight into funky. So they're related. But for me, the big shift was that funky put dance first. It was groove over aggression, a groove over just barring up the rhythm. It became a proper club scene, especially in London and the South, whilst places further up north seemed to lean more towards bassline. That regional split matters, and that's not to say that funky wasn't popping off in Nottingham, Sheffield, Huddersfield, Manchester, Birmingham, and bassline wasn't popping off down south in London and Bristol, because it certainly was. But there definitely was a regional split, and I'd be very interested in exploring that as a whole topic as well. Funky worked because the dance floor dictated what was hot and what lasted. DJs and clubs were the engine for UK funky. I always looked at the Afro swing scene as a continuation of UK funky. It carried funky's rhythm first mindset, but it was rooted in British African communities in a way that felt culturally owned. There was a shared tempo, a shared aesthetic, a shared optimism. parties, student nights, club nights, all popping off. I have to mention like the whole Midlands scene, the whole Midlands student scene in the 2010s as a real vehicle for what Afroswing became. Nottingham, Leicester, Birmingham, Coventry, Wolverhampton, yeah? Students all over those cities linking up, going to Barfest, bar crawls, all over that region. Helped the scene thrive. The sheer online momentum of Afroswing, unbelievable. Afroswing worked because a generation felt comfortable, connected and seen at the same time. Let's look at another scene, UK Drill. And what I find interesting about UK Drill is it was not a party scene. This was not born in the clubs. This was not given life by the clubs. Drill lived in the estates, it lived in the parks, the schools, it lived at the top of the bus, the back of the bus. Pretty similar to Grime in some ways. People knew each other offline before it travelled online. We had visual language, local codes and shared realities holding everything together. YouTube replaced pirate radio, but the function was similar. Reminds me a lot of Grime. Drill proved that scenes don't really need clubs, it just needs shared experiences. Like I said, these scenes didn't all work in the same way, but people were all pushing together in each scene to help it thrive forwards. And at the moment I look around the UK and I don't see anything like that. There's nothing new at the moment. The 2020s aren't empty, they're just fragmented. We have the artists, we have the fans, we have the platforms, but the algorithm doesn't really reward like togetherness. It's more of an individual thing, and that's a real shame for me. And scenes need time, friction and repetition to really mold and come together. Hey, maybe I'm not looking in the right place. Maybe I'm missing something. I'd love you to tell me in the comments and put me onto a scene that's popping in the UK right now. I'd love to see. Truth be told, scenes don't often announce themselves. They often appear out of thin air. And they're just normally brewing somewhere where nobody's looking, and then all of a sudden you can't miss it. And now I think about it, maybe the real question is not really what the next scene will be. It's whether we are creating the right conditions to help it happen. I would love a new scene, love it. I don't know what it's gonna be. I don't know whether it's gonna be youth led. I don't know whether it's gonna be the early 90s babies that bring it. I don't know whether the 80s babies are gonna come with something. But yeah, I'd love there to be a new scene. Is it gonna be melody driven, lyrics driven? I don't know, but I'm really excited for something new, because that's what it's all about, man. Just pushing everything forward, pushing the scene forward. Join me in the comments if you've got something to say. I'd love to hear what you're saying. Myself, Friends Phoenix.